Hey guys, welcome to the analysis for March 12th, 2013. It's getting close to 4 p.m. Eastern here, so these bars that we're looking at on the daily chart are getting pretty close to coming to their close. And a few interesting things I want to point out today. One of the things right off the bat that you can see is that the USDCAD still did not work below the area that we're looking. So it's just lingering, kind of hanging out there, but still very close to a great setup. And so I would encourage you to continue taking a look at that. We're also going to do a few other pairs and some other setups that I'm looking at, and I think it'll be a great analysis. Before we jump into that, we'll cover our news, go through our terms real quick, and then we'll get right back into these charts and talk about some great trade setups. Alright guys, so when we look at the news tomorrow, we do have a decent amount of news. Most of that is actually coming later in the afternoon, but in the New York session we have 8:30 a.m. news for US dollar core retail sales. We're going to want to pay attention to that. You know, the US dollar, depending on which pair you're looking at, is at some critical points, so definitely want to pay attention to that. But then later at 4 p.m. And after 4 p.m. we have New Zealand and AUD news hitting. All of that's coming at once. Press conference, cash rate, rate statement, policy statement, unemployment, a lot of major events all coming in. So the afternoon, especially considering, you know, the AUD and the New Zealand economic situations, that could really shift things and make some interesting trade setups, or cancel out some trade setups. It can do a lot, and so I would really recommend that you pay attention to that. Be careful, of course, with any AUD or New Zealand crosses that you have on the market at that point, because it's a lot of important events coming out pretty close together there. Alright guys, and then just to quickly cover our terms, basically the idea here is, and you may already know this if you watch the analysis on a regular basis, but the idea is that the daily analysis is for educational purposes only, because there are certain regulations put in place by the United States government that prohibit us from giving investment advice. So we don't want to do that. We want to make sure that you understand that we're just giving our personal opinions of the market, and that it's not to be taken as investment advice. Alright, so if you need to pause and read through that, please take the time to do so. Alright guys, so just to quickly recap on the USD CAD, this is an area where I think some shorting is possible coming back into this major level. We've talked about this for a few days now. We kind of have this upward trend building here. It's not a strong trend, it's very short term, but it is building, and kind of the horizontal level also here has not been broken with any kind of authority. So kind of a double area here. If we break this with any kind of momentum and continuation movement, I would definitely be thinking short on the USD CAD, trying to drive it down into 101, but we're still a little bit of ways away from that at this point, and so just looking for that to gain some momentum. Right now, it's just a matter of the US dollar and the Canadian dollar being at relatively equal strength, so they're not, one's not pushing the other in a certain direction. They're just kind of hanging out. So if the CAD is able to gain a lot of strength and the USD weaken at all, we can see a great move, but at this point, it does not exist yet. Alright guys, next we have the euro dollar, which again you can see is still floating right near this 130.35 area. Pretty tight channel that we have going on here. So whether it breaks out of the top or the bottom, again, could be a potential trade, but still one that we're going to have to wait on and be patient for. Euro, you know, kind of giving mixed signals lately. Came into the steep crash here, but now slowing down quite a bit, and so just, you know, trying to be patient, look for a precision entry, and take advantage of it when the time comes. Again, sitting around about 130.35 at this time, and really only just waiting for a good break or setup, and then we'll take advantage of it when it moves. Alright, US yen is stalling right near 96. Probably not anything that we can do right now with it, as it's just kind of hanging up there, but potentially there's kind of this top level here around 94.5. If we do get some continuation movement, perhaps on lower time frames tomorrow, we could look to trade back into this level, so that is a potential there. But overall, right now, if it's just hanging, kind of not making a lot of strong movement, pretty difficult to find anything within the US yen there. Alright, and not to be boring, but pound dollar also stalling and not a lot going on there, right around 149. And so it's yet another pair that we're just going to have to be patient on. Again, kind of notice this this wedge that's trying to form. It's kind of an opening wedge here that we can see, and so it might get a bounce up here, at least if we're going to get a break, but we'll have to wait for that to develop as well. So again, just another pair where there's not a lot going on yet, but could provide some potential if we start seeing some movement to the upside here. All right, euro pound testing the top of this area, has not really broken out yet, and again, I would consider this area important here at the very top. But still some rejection. Could get a move back down to the bottom of this channeling area, but also there's likely, because of this upward move before the stall, we have this upward move, the stall could see an attempt to continue that, and so just a matter again, and I know basically said this on every pair, but of just waiting for the development to kind of fill out there. So I apologize that there's not a lot of actual actionable trade setups going on right now. Most of these things are sitting at key levels and not quite ready to make up their mind. But on the bright side, almost every pair that we've looked at does have the opportunity to make a move in the near future. And so it's just a matter of waiting for that to happen and then having a good, solid reaction to that and trying to make a profitable trade with it. Alright guys, so that's the analysis for today. Pretty short, pretty brief. Didn't want to waste your time going through a lot of stuff when really it's just, for the most part, a matter of waiting. We do have some critical news coming out, so could have some things setting up in the near future. But right now for me, my platform is flat, and I'm just waiting and trying to be patient for these setups to really set themselves up by breaking these levels or bouncing off these levels or whatever it's going to be. Right now, kind of sitting too still and just hanging out at prices that are not very tradable. Alright guys, so thank you very much for watching the analysis. I hope it was helpful to kind of get an idea of what levels I'm looking at, why I'm not trading right now, and hopefully we'll be able to get some better trade setups in the near future.